if there's anybody out there. It's yeah, been our assistants lately. Okay, come on. Oh, it has loaded, and so now we're going live. So we're all set for today. Yay!
Yay!
The Chit Chat is officially back. Do you want to watch Facebook or Instagram for comments?
Instagram, please.
All right, I'm gonna figure out Facebook. Me and Facebook like to get in the fight some days. Not today. Today's I think we got our share of technological issues out of the way. Okay, come on. I lied. Okay. Um. Okay. I swear we know what we're doing, folks. We just we just have we get a little we're a little so okay. We are live everywhere. Looks like we're good. All right. So hello out there. The Chit Chat's back for the year, and where we start off today with Passion 2026. So, yes, we're gonna explain what that means. And today's gonna be the first day of our adulting series, talking about some common like issues and topics that, as young adult Christians, we face, and some spiritual questions related to it. So, we're gonna start off with what our first question is: what is one word you would describe passion as, and why?
I'm gonna say influential because there's just so many things that really do influence you at passion, whether it's the music or one of the speakers or all the speakers or even just the peers that are around you. You are influenced by so many things and so many people, and I think sometimes we forget that the whole point of it is we're there to learn more about God and get closer to Him, and so His influence in that as well is very important.
I like the answer. That's really good. Like, so I'm trying to think of this like answers to this question earlier, and like that did not pop up. So influential, I think it's great response. Mine was I was gonna say praise because I feel like half our time at Passion is just worshiping God, and another half we're listening to speakers, and all of it though is pointing to us praising God, worshiping, and coming together as a generation to do that. So I guess it'd be a good time to talk about what is actually passion, because I feel
Okay,
like
so
that was it's
oh,
a
go
really
ahead.
hard question. No, it's just a really hard question to answer. I feel like
Yeah, so passion is kind of like church camp, but going crazy for about and overall you're only in the building for about 48 hours. Um, or like it's less than 48 hours. It's over a span of about 48 hours. It involves a lot of getting up at 5 in the morning and going to bed at 1 in the morning. You're not getting much sleep, but you are there to worship and understand more about Christ with people who are 18 to 25. So that's something that's very important to mention about Passion is it's 18 to 25-year-olds, college age kids, young adults, people who are some who are learning about Christ for the first time and some who have been raised in Christ. It's really interesting to see everybody's walk with the Lord and just being able to worship and have conversations with people who are your age, who are going through similar trials and tribulations as you. I think that's a good explanation of what passion is.
that's sums up I think perfectly. I mean, this year was my first time going, so a group of us, a lot of us were on the yes team who actually went this year to Passion in Texas. So that was a fun little trip for a couple of days, and yes, we did not sleep much. So there was barely any sleep, but like I said, it's basically like church camp but on steroids in a short amount of time. But you're with people your own age learning. So I think like the first things they did at Passion when they first started was like you had to raise your flashlight on, either raise your hand for answer certain questions, and that was just to show us like how much we had it similar, how much we all struggled, and I think that was a great way to unite us right off the bat. I mean, it was a full house. Like this was 45,000 people, every seat booked in the stadium. So this that environment is really hard to explain all those people, but it's a definitely amazing experience. So if you're a young adult out there who is interested for next year, definitely reach out to us. We will definitely help you get set up. Oh, I like how we got a like on Facebook. I'm not sure who sent it, but thank you for that. But I guess like what has been the most memorable experience for you at Passion and why?
So this was my second year going to Passion, and I really think the worship in a whole is the most like the place that hits my heart the most. Worship is something that's very special to me, and like this type of worship, like praise, like singing worship, is very special to me. But I think it's very important, like to me at least, to understand that we are experiencing a lot of different types of worship. We're talking about prayer, um, like speakers speaking, and music. So I think that's a lot of things that we don't look at, is like worship can be many different things. And so I think that's something that has stuck out to me as I went for the past couple years, is worship is different. And I think that's been very influential in how I look at, like, oh, I'm going to worship. No, I'm going to sing praise music. I'm also worshiping when I am opening a door for somebody or just practicing the way that God has set out life for us.
So I love that a lot. I think mine was like I feel like it was that night with the cross. Actually, everything feels like a blur with Passion because you're there
Yeah.
for a long time. But it was definitely I get the broken arrow message. Oh, the camera hits again.
Oops.
Oops. But this is message about the broken arrow, and I think there was like a thing where like if you're struggling to stand up or something, and just like that powerful moment, like everyone praying over each other. That might be the first night. I don't know. I think it might be blending different nights, but there's a lot of times where it's like I saw people like we were also
Yeah.
on our knees praying at one point, praising. That was uncomfortable for the record. Yeah, we were on the floor too.
Very
That was
uncomfortable.
hard. There's not a lot of space between the seats for that. But yeah, there's just a lot of moments, like little moments like that, where it's just powerful moments for people, and I can just like you can just tell there's a lot of people who's that's a moment in their faith journey, a turning point. So that was kind of like really cool to see for on
Yeah.
my end.
Yeah.
All
Definitely a cool
right.
part is just seeing how everybody else worships and like really connects with God.
Yes, I think at one point I saw a girl on her. This is like before the knee, like on her knees praising, like on her knees praising the Lord. I was just that was like a really powerful like wow, like just like seeing like her worshiping with her whole heart.
Hmm.
So I think that was something awesome, like really cool experience to see. Um. Okay. So, who was your favorite speaker this year?
Oh, I'm
Maybe
gonna
last year
have to
too.
go with Cliff.
Cliff. I love Cliff.
I love Cliff, and I struggled to keep my attention on one thing for too long, and Cliff kept a very good hold on my mind because he kept like it wasn't switching topics, but because he was answering questions, he was kind of switching topics, so it's easier for my brain to like, oh wait, I if I get bored of one topic, I can go back. So I think that was really I think he was probably my favorite.
I would say Cliff was definitely one of my favorites. And also, all the videos I saw of Cliff afterwards were so fun. It's like Cliff be doing anything but sitting in the chair because he kept like walking around, stretching, like leaning over Louis. That was
Yeah.
it was pretty funny. Like he was something very entertaining, and like that I do not know. Like
Hmm.
all of us, I think it's been seared in our brains.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm pretty like stuck between Louis with the broken arrow message. 'Cause, like that, like really hit home for me. I thought was a concept that like even if you're a broken arrow, the Lord it doesn't matter how good the arrow is. It only matters is the archer. And archer is the Lord. So no matter like how broken you are, God will still use you. And it does like really powerful because like a lot of people feel like they're not worthy enough. They're too broken. Like there's too many things going on in their life for them to be used by God, and that's not the case. So I really love that message, but I also really loved I forget her name. Like it's like Christine.
Christine. Nevaeh just said Christine's message was so good, and I think I would have to agree with that. She also said Cliff was really funny, and I think
Yes.
the stretching was the funniest part of Cliff.
Yes. He definitely kept everyone's attention. I can see why he's had such a powerful ministry with college students. It's because of
Mm,
his energy is so contagious. And the way he just like brutally honest answer the questions. So I feel like a lot of
Mhm.
people, when they're questioning God, they want someone to tell them the truth. They don't want
Yeah.
some sugar-coated answer. They want someone to tell them, like, what the actual truth is. Like, yes, we don't know all the answers. We don't know why they're suffering. We don't know why this happens. We don't know how God will judge us in the end. But we do know some facts, and I think that's what he really reiterated that what we do know and stuff. But Christine, I love her. Like, I didn't get any find one of her books and stuff. So this is my second time listening to her speak. She spoke at the Global Leadership Conference, and her message there was also really powerful. So she's done a lot of like work in with human trafficking. Her whole story is crazy. She didn't even talk about it here, because on at Passion, but talking about how she found out she's adopted,
Hmm.
how that like shook her world because she found out because her parents didn't tell them. Her brother found out because something the Australian government did. They sent her a thing, and so her brother comes in and was like, "Yo, am I adopted?" Because her dad had already died at this point, and
Mhm.
his and then finding out she's adopted too. It was like this amount of like stuff has happened in her life, but the fact that God still used her, like the whole broken arrow thing
Mhm.
for the glory, but also like their message of like even if you're in the prison, the palace is coming. Like you can't compare what's happening in your life right now to someone else's life.
Yeah.
Yeah, like no one's faith story is the same. And some people it takes way longer, some people it's shorter route there, but no matter what, you're going somewhere. You just gotta like have faith, and I think that was awesome too. So I have too many favorites. Cliff was also sorry,
Yeah,
sorry,
Nevaeh
Gina.
said it was so good we heard it twice, and if you don't understand that, um, the echo in this stadium was insane, and it would just echo every time a speaker would speak. It would echo so bad, and so you'd really have to like focus on what the person was saying, and that was difficult. But I wanted to bring this up. If you were not at Passion, or if you were at Passion, you can still watch all the messages that we were talking about. They're on the Passion website, and so if you're like, oh, that sounds interesting, like what we're talking about, you can always get on the Passion website and rewatch or kind of try and understand what we're talking about as well.
I
That's not
definitely
an ad. I sounded like an ad right there, but it's not.
we are not sponsored by Passion for the record.
It would be cool.
That'll be cool though. That'll be cool. We're not though. Um, but no, definitely recommend. But only because I think they should have not the echo in there in the videos. Like you probably should understand better because there's a couple speakers I had no idea what they were saying. What was that one?
Yeah.
I forget his name. John.
Yeah.
No idea what the man was saying the entire time. I was so
Yeah.
lost. I got like every other sentence, and then the other woman, she was also good, but hers was really short.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but not fire. Something related to fire. Burning bush.
Jackie Hill Perry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There was a lot of really good messages, and it was just kind of unfortunate that we couldn't hear all of it, but you could definitely get the good parts out even with the echo, which is really the important part. So, but if you want to go watch them, go back and watch them. There's no echo on the live videos. It's really nice.
it was really nice. See, I don't know what was up with that this year. It must be the speakers because like the worship was fine too. So
Mhm.
also I think it depended on where you were in the stadium. But like I think if you're center, because like when we were center that one the last day, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Because when you're in the off branches, it's terrible. I can't even imagine being at the nosebleeds. Like
Mm-mm.
I bet they couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
All right. So since we're on a topic of speakers, what's been one thing that a speaker has said that stuck out to you?
Ooh, I you should go first. I have to think.
Okay, I have also too many, but definitely the broken arrow has stuck out to me. Just like that whole concept kind of made me rethink of like how God can use people, but also the I do not know forever stuck in
Mhm.
my head. I think I shall be answering those questions forever now as that.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing a speaker said during Passion was probably Christine's palace and prison thing, and she talked about a lot about how you can't compare your season 1 to somebody else's season 5, which I think was really cool to think of it like you are in a season, but at the end it's going to be better. And I think that was just really cool to, and like the visual of the literal prison always being connected to the palace was really cool.
Yeah, no, that was actually like crazy because I saw. I saw that on stage. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, that looks like a person. Why is there a person on stage before she started talking? So that was, I think it was awesome prop because that really like showcased the point. Even if you were the echo, you would still get the point just based on the fact they had like the prison gate on one side of this wall, and on the other side it was a palace setting. So that I think was really awesome. But yeah, so um, so like, why do you think that going to Passion and or like having similar events like Passion is so important for young adult Christians?
I think it's very important for young adults because being able to see other young adults worshiping, because I feel like a lot of times you might go to a church and there's a lot of adults and like there's not many people your age, or just like showing to the world that 18 to 25 year olds or young adults or whatever, they're on fire for the Lord. And Passion being sold out, 45,000 young adults coming together to worship the Lord shows the world a lot about, wow, the young people are really craving this Father, the Lord. And I think it's very important that we see that, because and that we show that to the world, because a lot of people think that we are a lost generation and we're not lost. We know where we are. And there's also, we have 45,000 people in the stadium, but how many people are watching online and all that stuff? Like we are on fire for the Lord, and I think that having everybody in the room is a great representation of that, but you can also think of it outside the walls. Like those 45,000 people have now went out into their homes, their college campuses, their communities, and are sharing what they learned about. Like we are sharing what we learned about, and they're sharing that with their communities as well.
So like, it's like something I've learned from doing the chit chat. Yes, is that young adult ministry is hard, just because like I feel like 18-25 is such like a crazy time of our lives. We're busy, we're in school, we're working, and the fact that everybody was able to put all their responsibilities aside just for a couple of days, just to focus on the Lord, is so powerful, so meaningful, and just kind of like a nice. It was like we did it like over. It started on New Year's Day. Just starting off 2026 on the Lord was amazing, just especially for me. And so I think that's why it's so important is giving people that space to just focus on God, because there's so many things we're stressed out about, so anxious about. And not only that, like our generation, like I said, is on fire for God. We are the most being baptized. It's all something about this. Like we have the highest rates of baptism right now. We are the most in church right now. There are more people in our generation. And there's like revitalization happening in our generation, because like a lot of people are just tired of everything this world has to offer, all the anxiety, all the stress, realizing that like what we see online isn't the truth. And I think that's amazing, and passion is just like a key feature of that. I mean, you sold out 45,000 seats for young adults. I think that's actually amazing. So I think that's why it's so important for events like this and having young adult ministry, is so that we have a place to feel comfortable. Because like I said, I feel like church is either like I feel like our church especially is like with a great young ministry for kids and for high schoolers and stuff like that, and we have a great adult ministry. But the middle is that middle years. It's like we struggle. I feel like a lot of churches have that issue. So having events like passion and stuff like that definitely helps a lot.
Yep.
All right. So I think it's time we put this debate to rest. Ready? Would you consider Passion a conference or not? So, Nick, we talked
I
about this.
think I really like the idea of Passion as a gathering, but I also understand where people come from when they call it a conference. Like it's a group of people together learning something. But I think we all come into a lot of, not all, but most people come into Passion with some sort of knowledge of Christ already, and at least a little bit, or they know they've started that walk in the correct direction. And I think it's more of a gathering of people who are trying to learn more and gather together than more of a conference, because I feel like conference is too businessy. Every time I think of a conference, I think of I need to have business casual clothes on. But I think Passion, it's important to look at it in a. It's not just learning from one person. Like it's not just the speakers teaching you something, it's also the people around you are there to communicate and gather with you, and they want to learn from you, and you can learn from other people.
I have to agree with you. Like I called it passion before because I didn't know how to I mean I called passion conference before because like I didn't know how to explain to my family what I was doing. So like I was like, oh, I'm just going to a young adult Christian conference, like no big deal. But I do agree with that. Like I don't think you would put that like effort and money and time into going to passion unless you already were on your walk your your faith journey, or unless you knew people going to passion. Like you
Mm-hmm.
had like a friend who like convinced you, like, hey, come on, you have to go, kind of situation. But I definitely do think it is a bunch of people coming together to like, they called it an encounter with Jesus, but I feel like that's also not correct because I feel like you're looking for an encounter with Jesus, you're beginning on your faith journey. That makes sense. I mean, don't be
Yeah.
wrong, we're there to counter, but like I don't know. I feel like passion just have should be its own noun.
Yeah, I think passion is enough to just describe it. And then if you need more details, ask me later.
Exactly. I like
Because
that.
passion, I think passion isn't something you can just explain in a couple words. It is really about the story, about the people, and about everybody's interactions. It's not just one or two words. That's in my opinion.
I have to agree with that because, like, I also think everyone's experience of passion is different based on what they were coming for and what they received. So, like, if you
Hmm.
were more on the music side, you'd be like, oh, it's all about worship and praise, which is true. But like, if you were more coming for the speakers, you're like, oh, there's these amazing speakers. Like, it's not one or both because you have the conference side of like the speakers and stuff, but you also have like the concert side of like the praise team and like different Christian artists. So it's like it's this is like its own thing. So I think we finally put that to rest. We heard it here on the Chit Chat officially. Passion is not just a conference. How about
I
that?
think that's good.
Okay. So we have two more questions left because we get 5 minutes. But
Okay.
what is something that you learn at Passion that you are taking back and applying to your life?
I think for me, I'm gonna go back to Christine's season one. You don't compare your season one to season five. Um, because I think that's really important, and especially as Christians, a lot of Christians follow other Christians on like social media and stuff, and they see, oh, that person is doing so much, or like Sadie also talked about it during the conversation. Was she posted the positive parts or the most beautiful parts of her making Christmas cookies with her daughters, but she goes, I didn't post the mess or the 3 hours worth of baking that happened. I think that's important, and that's something that I'm going to take back with me, that my the way I am, and like I'm not going to be on point every day or like every moment of every day, and like I can still have my moments with the Lord, even though there's other people, even though I'm seeing other people on fire for the Lord every day or all hours of the day, because that's what they're posting on the internet. Like that's not true, but that's what we see, and that's how we start to compare ourselves. And I think it's important to not compare yourself to where everybody else is, and just focus on how connected you are to the Lord.
I definitely think that was one of the things I was taking back, but also don't compare your own seasons too.
Hmm.
I think sometimes we think we've fallen like away from God, and that was what causes us to drift more. Because you're like, oh, we were so on fire for God right after church camp. Like, what happened? I think especially like as a like a new Christian, when you hit that first like major sin or major like I don't know like dark moment or major valley in your life, it's so easy to run away from God. So easy because of your all the shame and guilt you feel. But that's just the beginning of your faith journey.
Yeah.
So I think like you can't compare your own seasons too, and learning that like God has good plans for you. There's always palaces ahead. Like you may be stuck in the prison now, but you're going to get to that palace. I mean, Joseph had seasons too. Just because he was in the palace doesn't mean everything was good for him. Always. I mean, he went from like high servant, which is basically I'd say palace status, to prison again. Like those highs and lows continue throughout his life, and we see that with other Bible heroes too. That's always not going to look pretty. But I think mine especially was a broken arrow thing. So I felt like maybe like coming in, it felt a little bit like a broken arrow. So like being there, it felt like, oh, like Lord's got me. No matter like what's going on in my life, He can still use me. I just have to make sure the focus of my relationship with Him to be ready for those moments where He's ready to shoot me wherever I'm meant to go. So I think that was definitely a good takeaway for me. And then the last one, which we talked a little bit about this, was we talk about how passion, there's a large chunk of it is worshiping God, which there's different ways to worship God. So what are some things that we can do every day to always worship and praise the Lord like we do at Passion?
I think a lot of times I think of, oh, my worship music that I'm playing out of my phone is not the same worship music that they're singing on stages. And I think that's something, not like saying it's not worship music or whatever, but like saying it doesn't feel like it has as much of an effect, but it really does on your heart, especially like the effect of playing worship music over other types of music. It does have an effect on your heart, and I think that can be something that you take out of Passion is, oh, I can still worship like this if it's at my house or in the car or something like that. Be careful if you're driving a car and worshiping.
Yes.
It can get a little crazy sometimes, but I think that's something that you need to take from Passion is, oh, well, I can worship there, I can worship at home. And I think there's just other ways, like many ways to worship. And I think as you go to Passion, you can find out which one works the best for you. Like for some people, it's journaling. For some people, it's singing. And for some people, it's whatever. There's different ways. And I think you can find your way to worship at Passion and then find a way to keep it going every day when you leave.
I think it's just like building habits in your life that if your life is in whether you're in a prison or a palace, having like set daily habits that focus on God helps a lot, especially like right now in our age time where like everything is like chaos. I feel like being an adult, it's just chaos. Learning to deal with chaos and dealing with assignments or your work jobs and stuff like that, like whatever you're dealing with your life, but learning what works for you. Like for me, prayer journaling helps a lot, but also making sure I get my praise music in every day, just to keep my eye on the Lord because like you are what you eat. So like whatever you consume, whatever music you consume, whatever media or what you watch on Instagram or TikTok, that's gonna affect your heart and your mind. So if you are trying to focus on God, but yet you're listening to music that promotes sin and other, bad things, then that's where your heart and mind is gonna be at. But you focus on music that lifts your spirits up and praise the Lord, then you're gonna like have a relationship with God. So yeah. Anyway, it is 7:31, so we are nearing the end of our time. I was just quickly going to say what our Bible verse today is, which is passions. Like this is what passion based or whole thing around this Bible verse is Isaiah 26:8. Yes, Lord, walking in the way of your laws, we wait for you. Your name and renown are the desire of our hearts. Which I think really does sum up passion pretty well. Is we waiting for the Lord, walking in His ways, and making sure that we're doing it for His glory, not our own glory.
Hmm.
So that'll be our verse of the day. And Morgan, would you like to close us out in prayer?
Sure, I would.
I
Dear
forgot to ask
Lord,
for prayer concerns. Sorry. I
no, you're
forgot. Is
good.
there any prayer concerns first? We forgot to ask this earlier. I have nothing on my end. No one's commented. I think I'm the only
I
one
don't have
watching.
anything over here.
Okay, so we're ready to go.
Okay. Dear Lord, I just thank you for the time that all of us got to spend at Passion, that we got to learn a little bit more about you and our walk with you. Lord, I pray for the people who weren't able to get to Passion, or the ones who have outaged Passion, or whatever else reasons that they couldn't be at Passion. I urge that, or I pray that you can uh, be with them and bring them to you even closer to you, because you are our rock and you are the way we are able to be into heaven one day. Lord, I pray that you are with us as we go out from Passion, that we can spread your word and your glory every day, because that's what you have called us to do. Lord, I pray for any prayer concerns that any of the viewers have, or anybody in our community has, or around the world has, because we know you are a good God and you will help and answer those prayer concerns. In your precious holy name I pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, that's it for the chit chat this week. Next week we'll be talking about money and like financial decisions and stuff like that. So that's an important thing to consider. So thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next time. It'll be at 7 o'clock again. Bye.